Welcome to another episode of the Sovereign and Optimal podcast. Here we have Nick Sweeney, based Ethos, if you will. Thank you for doing this, brother.
Thanks for having me. Really stoked to be here.
Yes, sir. So congratulations, first of all, on launching, what is it, the Vortex app, your breathwork app?
Yeah, it's called Coherence.
Coherence. Cool,
yeah,
man.
Thanks.
Is that homage to like heart and brain coherence?
Coherence, yeah.
Cool.
Coherence is sort of the fusion between heart, mind, chaos, order, balance.
Okay.
And when you are coherent between your heart and your mind, you feel it, you know it, you speak clearly, you speak coherently. There's no distortions when you're talking. Your energy doesn't have distortions, so it's just alignment, clarity.
Okay.
It also sounds cool.
It does sound cool.
So,
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So you want to start this off by ripping or showing us, or just ripping a little session there? Quick, brief breathwork session.
Let's get everyone into a vortex breath here.
Let's do it.
Focus, get some presence going. So, for anyone listening, if you're driving, if you're near some water, don't do the breath work.
Yeah.
But if you are in a comfortable place, just close your eyes, nice and relaxed. Start to feel gravity, and just take a breath in all the way and feel your head. Out all the way and feel your feet. In and feel your head. Out. One more. One more. Your next inhale will be 13 seconds long. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale now for 13 seconds. And go. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice and slow. 12, 13. 2, 3, 4. 10, 11, 12, 13. In for 8 seconds. Out for 8 seconds. In for 5 seconds. Out for 5 seconds. In for 3. Out for 3. In for 2. Out for 2. In for 1. Out for 1. Hold your breath. Close your eyes. Release all tension in your body. Pure presence. Feel your whole body all at once. Fully embodied, fully present, fully here, fully coherent now. How was that?
That was great, man. the patented vortex, brother.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so could you obviously... Well, you know what? I want to start by reading something, because obviously our vibrations now are higher. We're more present here now.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that you wrote.
Okay.
Your number one objective is raising your vibration. New ideas, people, and opportunities are inevitable when you seek vibration. Movement, nature, meditation, breathwork, pure water, good food, good people, all will fall into place perfectly for you when you seek vibration.
Yes.
Can you break that down for us, bro?
Frequency first perspective. And I believe that we are all vibrational beings. It's actually just what it is at the subatomic level, is everything's vibrating. Mm-hmm. So given that we're vibrational beings, I believe that we are reflecting. Everything that we have in our life is reflecting our own inner world. And vibration is part of that. And so if your body is a musical instrument that you can tune with all those things I just listed, movement, meditation, breath work, singing, humming, chanting, the people you're around, everything has an impact on your frequency.
Yeah.
So you want to protect your frequency, and you also want to learn, how can I be just vibrating at a level that feels natural to me and right for me. And I think that from that place, you manifest your own destiny. You take the unmanifest and manifest it. And it sounds woo-woo, but anyone that's been to a concert believes in vibration.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to say anybody who immediately hears that and says it's woo-woo, it's because you're vibrating lower. You are already not even open to the possibility that these things that are at play. And that is why you will continue to believe that. The same way you're saying you attract the people based on your vibration. We're literally magnets. I mean, if any coincidence has happened in your life where you're having a good day and it gets better or something, like you find these opportunities, like you said in that caption, you are obviously, attracting these things in your life. And if you have a negative, poor, weak, frail mindset and you're operating on that frequency, no wonder you keep getting the same results, because you're not changing anything. And nothing changes if nothing changes within you. And you will continue to run into that wall if you are not at least open to the fact that these things are not only at play, but they're real. They're extremely real. There's people at the top that leverage it, the people you look up to, the athletes, the successful businessmen. Most of them believe in, at least if they don't say the specific words, they allude to something that is this energetic pull to the things that they want in life. And they just are pulling the strings and putting the action that's necessary to make it happen. But it starts with the belief, and the belief is what generates this frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And you have certain brainwave frequencies, wavelengths, and amplitude.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. Beta brainwave, theta, alpha, gamma. And those are, I think that people hear frequency or vibration, they're like, well, what does that even mean? How do I get higher vibration? What is high vibration? What does that feel like? And you have all these different energy centers within you. So when I'm speaking and I'm speaking from a grounded place, then I'm going to be vibrating that in you. And subsequently, if I'm to give you a compliment and you're feeling, I'm like, this is the best podcast I've ever been on.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Your shades look dope.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that. Giving is receiving.
True.
And so that is really how simplistic it can be, is how can you walk into a room and make people smile?
True.
Give them love and be love in action.
Take
That raises
space.
your vibration.
Embody that presence. And also it's like embodying, because you can, this is like a Joe Dispenza concept, but not really. I think he just touches on this phenomenon that's obviously real, is like, how can we align with the future that you want to bring into your reality? You have to behave and operate from this place of that version of yourself that you want to be. You're never going to be that person if you don't act like you're that person, right? So it's the same feeling as like, why do you think when some people you're just turned off to, you meet them and you just kind of like don't get the best vibe from them? You think that's just like, you don't think there's some type of instinctual, unseen energy frequency that's going on? These things are always at play. So how does breath work tie in to that? It's obviously a grounding practice, and a practice that could over time have that compounding effect to completely change who you are and how you think.
Well, grounding, what does that mean necessarily? It's like grounded in what? And I believe that, I take that to be grounded in the present moment, grounded in your awareness. And when you are more aware, then you are able to be tapped into someone's frequency, someone's vibe.
Yep.
If you're more aware, you can see those opportunities. You can have that, you can be open and receptive to whatever may come to you. So everything stems downstream from awareness. The only way to live in an aligned life is to first realize you're not in alignment. So that looks like self-discovery, really. And that act of self-discovery, forced reflection, meditation, breath work, mindset, alarms on your phone, whatever it may be, that brings you that awareness. Breath work brings you the awareness because not only am I presently embodied, but I am with my breath at the same time. And that is like a dual awareness where you're able to feel your feet right now and breathe consciously and listen to me at the same time. And you're just fully there. And that's like grounded awareness, and using the breath as that sort of lifeline, sort of like holding hands with God as you are having a conversation or doing your work. And you can train that dual awareness of like, I'm present and I'm doing something, but I'm also present of how I'm breathing the whole day. And that's kind of my objective, is the more present I can be with the breath, then the more aware I am. The more aware I am, the greater levels of awareness come greater levels of responsibility. So now that I'm aware of where I'm not in frequency or not free, now I have work to do, but at least I'm aware of it and I wasn't just ignorant.
Yeah. And that obviously it doesn't happen one day to the next. Like, you have to foster that awareness, and it's kind of this like baseline knowing of what the breath is doing, because you've done it so often. You have this like monitor in your head. Like, let's say you're so good at like counting calories, exactly in the back of your head where your macros are, it's kind of like that. It's like another metric that you respect, you realize the power of. So you are just constantly aware of where your state is in that realm. And that's powerful. And, I think a lot of people, they lack that awareness just because it's comfortable, and whether it's comfortable in the forefront of their mind, and they're like, oh, I'm comfortable. It's not like that. It's like the reptile brain is comfortable in the safety of safety, because we're programmed to survive, and we're still kind of living off that limbic awareness and that intuitive seek for safety. And I feel like the saber-toothed tiger comes in many different forms now, whether it be like debt or relationships or whatever stressor is in your life, your limbic system is interpreting as a predator. So you will do whatever you can emotionally, you dull your intuition, whatever you have to do to feel safe. And then the downstream effects of that are a life that lacks awareness, a life that lacks, the intention and aggression, or not aggression, but the just, having your edge there to carve your own reality and your own day. And then you wake up one day, you're 50 and you don't know where your life went. And, it's just it's a snowball effect that you need to kind of halt and find something that allows you to unplug yourself from that paradigm that you've been on. And
that's a good way of putting it, because it's not just about like, your nervous system's trying to keep you safe, not fulfilled. So then you're going to be seeking comfort and avoiding pain.
Yep.
Number one kind of prerogative of humans is like avoid pain.
Exactly, yeah.
But the problem is you go to avoid pain with what? Like in this day and age, you go to avoid pain with hyper addictive weapons of distraction. And so, you are seeking comfort and avoiding discomfort, but then you are also just hooking up to dopamine drip, comatosis. That's where it gets really sketchy, because if you were to just be with those feelings and not run up into your mind and start thinking, or run out into your phone and start doing, if you were with those things, then that frequency and resonance and energy will ultimately run its course through your system. And you'll do a clearing of it. But no one wants to sit and do the clearing for 30 minutes every day and clear the things that are still in their system from all of the moments, the day, week, year, prior, where they weren't fully present.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the unwiring, the rewiring of that. The older you get, the more entrenched in these patterns you've become. It seems like a mountain to climb, because it is, but you should get addicted to the feeling of climbing that mountain. Because if not, you have anxiety, you have depression, you're on all these vape, weed, going out, scrolling, whatever it may be, and you have this like feeling that you are either meant for more, or you just literally have like physical anxiety and you don't realize where it's coming from. It is because you're not even in your body. You're literally plugged into the program and feeling whatever the system wants you to feel, whether it be through like medication, God forbid, like pharmaceuticals that are just everywhere now.
How did you break that cycle and raise your own vibration and frequency and awareness?
The first thing that pulled the thread for me was the awareness of the sun. Like I was always not healthy, like I didn't really know like I wasn't always knowing what was real and fake food growing up. I was just eating what I thought was good, but I was always going to the gym and like moving. So that part was kind of set in stone because of my parents and the way I was raised. But the sun, man, like when I realized how powerful the sun was, and I see how propped up and glorified like sunblock is, and the fear mongering they place on the sun, and how we all came. It's the provider of life. It's the reason everything is because of the sun. And you're telling me it's going to kill me. So once I started to like switch that paradigm, I pulled the thread, and now sitting across from you, like it's literally that's what it is. And yeah, I think the feeling of how you feel when you're out in the sun every day speaks volumes, and it speaks to the antithesis of being inside scrolling and being plugged into the program, because that's as natural as it gets, realizing the mirror that is the sun, you know? What about you? What was that thread of liberation for you?
It was breath work for
Yeah.
me. That was sort of, I was injured, couldn't walk, just like crippled in my room on my bed for months and months and months. And so...
You were an athlete, right? What sport was it again?
I was a cross-country ski racer.
Awesome.
In college, and was super competitive, super into it, and got injured during COVID, split my shin open, hurt my foot mountain biking, tweaked my foot so that a bundle of scar tissue was underneath it, and I couldn't walk for 10 months. Doctor said my career was over.
Many such cases.
Yeah. And so that's why medical establishment's my enemy too.
Yeah.
So, 3 months though of laying on my back in bed, that gave me that awareness. That pulled me out of that like pit vortex, downward spiral vortex, and put me into the positive feedback loop, upward spiral, just clinging on to the breath, going up every day, 30 minutes to 3 hours. Just didn't even really know what I was doing, how I was supposed to be breathing, but I was just, that was the only thing I had left. It felt like that was like backed into a corner.
Yeah, you always have that.
Yeah, you always do.
Yeah, exactly. It's always available to you.
It's great. Yesterday when I was drunk on the boat, I had to tap in a little bit.
There we go. Yeah. It always works no matter what state you're in.
Yeah.
Now I've actually, the breathwork thing, I was doing breathwork a while ago too, like prior to the whole sun revelation as well. But for some reason it didn't kind of have a domino effect. The breathwork kind of helped me after my mindset was already there. But I've had some amazing experiences on breathwork that have healed trauma and whatever has gone on in my life to kind of move forward. Because these experiences we have in our lives as we're growing up, obviously, I mean, it's no secret, but they hold you back whether you realize it or not. Like you're blaming somebody for something you're not having and you don't even realize. We all have these underlying beliefs that are like the foundation of how we build our days and how we build what we think we can achieve, what we think is possible for ourselves. And unless you, like you said, forced reflection, if you don't look at your life and try to at least analyze, don't get lost in it, don't get like neurotic and like have to go to therapy sessions every week to break down your childhood, but like see what got you there, just so that you can realize that it's a figment of your imagination. Like it's not your parents' fault anymore. It's not your teacher's fault. It's now your responsibility to change how you show up to the world and how you live today. is how you live your life, because you know tomorrow never comes. So you have to make that choice at some point, or you're just going to be a victim of your own limiting beliefs.
Yeah. Yeah, and what you're talking about is how do you change behavior?
Exactly.
Really. Yeah. And the matrix that everyone is up in arms about, the only matrix that really matters to you, the listener, is the matrix of your own doing and own making.
Yep.
Like you are living within your own matrix.
True.
And maybe you also have some matrix out there. You do. Yes, there's an external world but you got to deal with the inside out game first.
You can get addicted to the external matrix.
Yeah, you do. Everyone does.
You can be on InfoWars all day and looking at the dollar bill and like seeing all the evil in the world, but like you're not doing anything to make yourself good, to make yourself godly and align with that light that you want in the world. Like how are you going to see it if you don't see it in the mirror? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
It's the real reckoning you have to have with yourself in order to conquer. He who can conquer himself can conquer the world, and you have to know yourself. You have to discover who you are and introduce yourself to yourself at the highest and lowest level. Because until you do that and you put all the shit on the table in front of you, and you're like, even though I am all of these things, I fully accept myself, trust myself, believe in myself, and love myself unconditionally. Now I can wipe the table full of shit clean. Be like, okay, now I'm coming at life from a place of strength, not weakness. I'm coming at this frequency game. I'm understanding now I have to protect my frequency, yes, to the external world, but more than that, I need to cultivate a belief system within me that's not bullshit anymore. The BS belief systems that we hold now are, some of them are BS. Some of the belief systems we have are helpful, and we also want to pay attention to that. I think people get so fixated on the negative parts about them, and that's just falling into the frame of the survival mode of the body. The survival bias wants you to just look at why you're inferior to keep you safe. Yeah. Make sure that person doesn't say that to you. Make sure that you're good enough in this way so that you don't get cast off the island and die alone in the jungle. Yeah, which is a bummer. That's what's trained, but you can filter your reticular activating system to the positive side of your life, and then like attracts like, however you want to put it, whatever physics are at play when you are paying attention to something, it expands.
Yep. Where attention goes, energy flows.
That's the basis of how I've healed people.
Yep. And that's like basically two camps, right? There's like the beliefs that are rooted in fear and the beliefs that are rooted in faith, right? And a lot of people also will hear that. I feel like we need to break these things down because it seems like a lot of people aren't willing to accept that like a lot of what they believe is rooted in fear, because they think fear and they think afraid. Like they have to feel afraid to immediate, like what I said, like in the forefront, you need to feel afraid, but it's not that you're necessarily afraid. It's just like your limbic system, like we said, is in a fearful state, and it's generating these negative thoughts. It's generating these like limiting beliefs about what you can do or why you can't do this and why you can't do that. It's fear-based. And yeah, it's fear-based. Yeah. So what's the difference, would you say, between like fear and faith, and how can we transmute that fear to faith?
Fear and faith are both impulses of the spirit and the body and the mind. So fear is like earth, and faith is heaven. And so to bring heaven and earth into alignment, that's how you fuse those two impulses of the spirit, and that's what pro athletes do at the highest level. They're afraid they're going to lose. They have faith they're going to win. They put them together. The problem is everyone's stuck in default mode fear, living on earth, not tapped in. Their connection to source, God, is not online. They're stuck in fear on earth. So to shift that, again, like shifting that just to faith, and faith is what's going to give you authority in the eyes of God. And from that place of authority, you have now increased your power of authority. I have the power to release through my faith in God. I believe I can heal. And I command myself to heal as a co-creator. And now I'm walking with God in tandem, using my free will and my faith in God to create the life I want. And I've said, fuck it to fear. And we inevitably fall back into fear, but if we can just continue aligning heaven and earth together, and this goes for just the energy centers in your body.
Yeah.
You've got instinct down low at the root, fear, insecurity, guilt, shame, usually emotions associated down there.
The low frequency ones.
Lower frequencies, and then you got higher frequencies up at the head, which is like intellect, but really that's like connection, source, God, and that is your sort of path upwards. And when you fuse your intellect and your instinct in your heart, you get your intuition. That is that like resounding feeling of expansion or contraction in the midst of two paths that lay before you. This way, expand. That way, contract. Okay, I'm just going to follow the whisper of my heart and go that way.
Yeah.
And that takes some time to start to trust that and cultivate fear and faith at the same time. It's like, yeah, you got to play the game of the Matrix. You got to make money.
Yeah.
But can we do it in a way that's aligned with the godly virtues and with heaven and earth together?
Yeah, because then you have people that are super wealthy and like fearful of everything, and they hate their lives. It's obviously not the answer to everything. You know, it's can it come synergistically? Can it come with inner harmony? Like that is the game to play at the highest level. And if it takes longer, it takes longer. But you only have one shot really at. I mean, you have a daily shot every single day. You can always change your life, but at the end of the day, you have one life. So if you see that there's people 20 years older than you that are rich and miserable, maybe don't chase the bag only. Like listen to see their life and take it as a lesson, and lean into the faith, figure out these problems sooner rather than later. But don't get halted and focus on these things too much, I feel like, because there's a level of what is it called? Like mental masturbation, I guess, where it's like you're so obsessed with these problems that you have in life and you're trying to figure yourself out so much that you're almost using it as a crutch because you're afraid to take the action on what you know you have to do. And that's like pseudo spirituality and all these people that I feel like are just putting the beads on and doing all these things for the wrong reasons. And I think another good thing to point out is that you could only shield yourself from the external frequencies of the world so much. But like you said, like if you train the reflex to lean into that light or that expansion more, then you will always be able to like transmute whatever's coming towards you. It's like alchemy. Like you literally are able to transmute these external negative feelings and interpret them differently because it's your perspective is like coded differently, and your perspective is what is creating your reality. That's what's crazy, that we are all literally we're living different realities based on how we daily choose to view the world. And people will believe that to the bone, and that is true. So really, what is the nature of reality if not just your perceptions on a daily basis? And I think you alluded to setting alarms. I think I've heard you talk about that. How does that help? Like, what do the alarms say specifically? And I'm curious about that.
Well, it's forced reflection. So 4 alarms on your phone every day, 1 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon-ish, 1 in the evening. Okay. And like for all my clients, first 2 weeks, the label is, what am I thinking about right now? And you write it down in your notes. What am I thinking about right now? Well, what was I just thinking about? Because you have to know yourself before you can get rid of the stuff that you don't want to have running your shit and the perspective and paradigm that's keeping you stuck. Because 99% of problems, like you said, you just have to take action. 99% of your problems can be solved with massive, massive action. Yeah. The problem is people keep sabotaging themselves. I have a lot of people coming to me that are, in essence, saying, I know what I need to do, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah, so many.
Right.
Same.
And we all feel that.
Yeah.
Because there are days when I'm like, I should be XYZ.
Yeah.
But I am doom scrolling.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And that's just, that gives me that awareness though, even.
Yeah.
And so
What's
how can
scary
you train it?
is the apathy where you're just there, not aware that you're scrolling and wasting your life away.
Unconscious behaviors are to be eliminated. And so what happens is you're stuck in an unconscious thought pattern.
Yep.
Alarm goes off.
Yep.
What are you thinking about right now, bro? Oh, I was just thinking about how I'm a piece of shit and I'm probably going to die alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me write that down so that I can
think
understand.
about that. Yeah.
Because once you know your programs, you can take responsibility for your programs. You can delete the programs. Once you understand what the fear is saying, you can take responsibility for it. And all your thoughts, fear-based thoughts, are due to fear-based feelings in the body.
Yeah.
So we're all stuck up in our head. And then we're just like, why am I having all these intrusive thoughts? It's like, you haven't gone below your throat in 10 years, bro.
The thyroid. Yeah. Thyroid maxing.
So once you're down there, then you can start working. You can start using the body as the map of your consciousness. You can start using the body as like, oh, tense here, tension there, indicator of XYZ. Let me just release. Let me accept. And when you're using your body and you're releasing and accepting out of tension and fear, your body learns to not live in survival paradigm anymore.
Yeah.
So it's not this like do or die default that everyone has to live in. You can learn to train the body into faith. And that is where things get really crazy.
Things get mystical.
Things get fucking I'm not a magic guy. I'm not a mystical magic synchronicity. I'm like, fuck off with all that.
Yeah.
Past 3 weeks, I'm like, okay, 100% believe it.
Yeah.
Down. Like I've had too many little just synchronicities, weird miracle type moments happening. Every time I look at the clock, it's 111, 222, 333, 444. Like I'm like, what is going on? And I just know that this is a byproduct of me living in alignment to a degree that I never have lived there before.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying in the beginning is like, if you're closed off to the fact that that's real, then it will not be real. And you will continue to see reasons why it's not real around your life. And that's fine. You can do that until you're in your black and white, gray carbon copy of the world and there's no color. And I get that. But like, if you choose to like have these practices, train that reflex, then these things will happen in your life, and it's undoubtable. It's just real, you know. And
if you do the work, it'll be a byproduct.
Exactly, yeah. And whether or not you want to call that simulation, God, I call it the divine simulation. Like all these numbers that come up and like 333 or these weird. I've been seeing so many coincidences in time with numerology and obviously all these conspiracy people will throw like the cabal on all these numbers and call it that. But I think it's just the way energy plays out over time in these higher realms, and they trickle down to this realm. And, you know, there's like stacked grid, I think, in like time and space, and these numbers will show up. And the more you are aligned, the more you will able to see, like the Truman Show, these coincidences that are popping up around you. And I think daily meditation, daily prayer, whatever it is you want to do, some type of spiritual grounding practice will inevitably be able to seep its way into your awakened reality, so that when you are on that unconscious program, this thing that you've been doing every day is now creeping up to the forefront of your life. And it's like, hey, like you're not where you enjoy to be so much when you're doing this practice. And then, you know, over time, it's easier to kind of snap back into that space of intention and who you actually are. And it takes time. Just like, you know, you're not benching 225 when you first start. You're not ripping a crazy max set of pull-ups, but you're addicted to it and you see the progress because it's physical and you look in the mirror. But that's like some chimp monkey shit. Like you see it in the mirror and that's cool, but what about what you don't see in the mirror? Maybe train those muscles too. Train the way you interpret your reality, change the way you treat people, change how you interface with the world, and your world will probably start to change. And it like we keep saying, you know, it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes leaning into that flow. But another thing I wanted to go over was the differences in breath work. You were saying you didn't know how to breathe when you were first doing these things. Like, same here. Like I've understood the differences in the moment, but since I don't like really research it on a daily basis, I've done like holotropic, I've done all these different types of breathing, the Wim Hof, the vortex. What is the difference and why, basically?
Well, there are so many different types of breathing and then nuances, and so that's a super broad question. But what I like,
I guess, like there's hyperventilation. I feel like is like the distinction where it's just like mindless oxygenation, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's hypoventilation, hyperventilation, superventilation. There's so many different ways to say it, but ultimately the way that I put it for people is you can go from an automatic transmission where you got drive, neutral, reverse with your car, and you can switch that to a manual. So now I can shift up before a workout and I can shift down right after a workout so I can start recovering, rest and digest right away.
Cool.
I can shift down right before a meal so I can absorb more nutrients.
Yeah.
Can shift down before bed so I can capitalize on the first 90-minute sleep cycle.
Nice.
And so that's like a broad starting point for breath where you have the power to shift up if your inhales are longer, fuller, and faster than your exhales. That's going to activate my system and put my heart rate up, my body temperature up. It's going to dilate it's going to constrict my pupils, etc., constrict my blood vessels. Mm-hmm. But if I go
the opposite,
I'm just dropping with gravity when I do that.
Mm-hmm.
Dropping down, 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 down.
And is there a difference between the exhale being mouth or nasal?
Ideally, you're only really breathing through your nose, but a lot of breathwork facilitators are like way too strict on that. And I tell people whatever is easiest for you.
Yeah.
Because it's better to do breathwork every single day than to not do it because some yo-yo told you you can only do it through your deviated septum.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
So there's that. But I would say that like breathwork, there's ultimately this essence of like it's your journey. The breath is the voice of your soul. Mm-hmm. It is your birthright. How do you breathe? What do you need in that moment? Do you need to activate? What does that look like for you? Some people Wim Hof and it's like crazy inhale and I tell them to stop doing that. But
the one I did that had the most powerful experience I had was what does that seem like to you?
I think that's great. I think it's really great. Because you can make things different. It's like, where's the emphasis and what's the attention on? Is it, that's like a super like getting it out.
Sighing it out.
Or is it just, I need to calm down? Leveling out and just sort of getting into that one zone where I'm not too activated, not deactivated, just perfect middle zone for the podcast. Mm-hmm. And your body's a musical instrument. So you combine these different things and you are able to just ultimately change your state in a very powerful way. You're able to get more oxygen, more CO2, more efficiency. You're holding your breath for 90 seconds every single day is going to release growth hormone, stem cell production on command. So you're healing on a physiological level, first and foremost, and then you're healing on a psychological, mental, metaphysical level.
And getting jacked in the process now.
Jacked as well.
You're Xing your growth hormone. And Be Here Now, Ram Dass, I've heard him say, God is the breath within the breath. Mm-hmm. And that's profound. Like, that is the breath within the breath. And I think you just kind of alluded to that. You said, what did you say about the inner breath? Or is
breath is the voice of your soul?
That's incredible. Because
you can just hear yourself breathing, and you just become aware of that, and then become aware that you are aware of your breathing. That is the breath within the breath, and you're like, oh.
Mm-hmm. And where, a good tip for meditating that always helps me is like, where are you feeling the breath? Obviously, like where they say, like, where do you feel your sit bones? Where you're in contact with the ground or the bed or whatever is that point of contact, focus your consciousness there, and that'll ground you into your body, get you out of the program a bit of your mind. And also, like where are you feeling the breath? Is it you feel it on your lips more? Are you feeling it enter and leave your nose? Because a lot of people just will sit down to meditate or try to meditate, and they don't know where to begin. Like, am I just not thinking? Am I just thinking of a white screen? Like, what's happening? Mm-hmm. And it's more of being within the body, being aware of your big toe. Like focusing on those types of things. And something I do when I'm going on walks, like a walking meditation. Is I'll be walking and I'll be saying in my head, my feet, my feet, my feet, my feet, and it's just it's crazy how the absence of thought and the absence of the running script we have in our head, the dialogue with ourselves and our plans and everything. When you remove yourself from that and you're in that presence, you open yourself to higher level thoughts, higher level plotting and planning. And I've had, I'm sure you can attest, like some of the most biggest ideas and revelations about myself in my head when I'm outside walking in that presence of movement. And that speaks a lot to how powerful getting in motion is. Like the first thing in the morning you should be doing is movement, like getting the blood sparked and just going outside and putting yourself in the position to have the thoughts you want to have and developing that routine. Sure that makes sense to you, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That is my morning routine. Yeah. Getting out of the mind and into the body, into the heart as soon as possible. And for the first 30 minutes of the day, I'm working out.
Yeah.
Then I'm breathing, and then I'm meditating, and then I'm visualizing, and then I'm praying, and then I'm out. And
nice. What's breakfast look like for you?
I
first meal.
Don't really have breakfast at this point right now.
Yeah. Well, first break
meal,
of the fast.
It's like steak and eggs and alfalfa sprouts, blueberries, some bone broth, some coconut oil, some kefir, and maybe some kimchi, maybe some sprouts, maybe some sauerkraut. That's the Nick special, pretty much.
There we go. There's the Sweeney special.
Yeah, nice. Exactly.
Yeah, that fermented, the gut health.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big thing too. It's like the gut is the brain follows the gut. So if your health isn't in check either, and you're doing these holistic breathing practices, but you're shoving your face with processed food and seed oils, not only is that not going to be productive, but you're going to feel misalignment there because it's just completely two different worlds.
Yeah.
So one comes with the other.
I ate some seed oils last night.
Yeah.
And some beers as well.
It happens,
that's the quickest way to flatline your frequencies.
Yeah.
Some beers. But yeah.
Well, you're in Miami for the first time in a while. It's a given. It's a skill to know how to live here.
Yeah, right.
for sure.
And not fall into that frame either. I'm too powerful for these beers and the seed oils to do anything to me. Like people get so afraid of, I just had some seed oils. Oh, exactly. Fuck, now I'm in fear. It's like nothing makes me weaker. I don't believe in anything that makes me weaker.
Yeah.
And I also am pragmatic where it's like, okay, that's not something that resonates though.
Yeah. So. In the world, but not of the world. Like you don't have to be like taken off track because like you went to a party and you had to eat this thing that was there because you were hungry. It's not like your whole life is out of whack now, but you have the awareness that, my body is resilient. If you don't use your health for something, this is an interesting like concept. Is like your health. I see it as like XP points, like you're a Pokemon or something in a video game.
Yeah.
If you're not using your health for something, it becomes unhealthy. It's just this neurotic, pristine environment when that's never been the case throughout our entire, evolution. Is like you need to be that health is used on your mission, whether it's the breath work, whether it's a business, an app, like with your clients, you need to be using all that health that you earned and are working for something. And if you use it all and then in your head you eat one bad meal and now you're screwed, that's not the right way to look at it, because then you're never going to have fun. You're never going to be open to these experiences either. You need to kind of be more more loose with it, you know?
Yeah, you
like
gotta
bamboo.
You gotta rock up the hill with
Yep.
your injuries, with your illnesses, with your diseases.
Yeah.
And you gotta just keep moving, and stagnation is death, ultimately. So keeping in motion.
Stagnation is sickness, movement is medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ocean is lotion.
There we go. We can keep it going. Nursery rhymes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And when you, how has your life from an athlete, like what have you tied into your athletic career, into business, into these newer ventures? Like, I'm sure that's, because it seems like you go hard. Like, you want something, you put your whole life into it, which is very, like, that's an athletic trait. Not a lot of people have that. They go like half-assed, very timid. So what is it that you attribute that to?
So it's a really good question. I mean, I coach a lot of athletes, so that's one way it's showing up in my life, is that I have a directly applicable experience. But in my own life, it's just about, like, consistency is my X factor, and not cutting corners to the best of my ability, and also taking that, like, long-term time horizon, but also super, super present in the moment, and recognizing, like, I can't control what the results are going to be.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not going to let the results page tell me who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take a more macro perspective of, like, as long as I continue to stay in alignment to the best of my abilities and continue to keep my eyes to God, I'm going to be going, like, relatively upwards, not just oscillating between a couple week detox, feeling great, crash out, back up, trying again. It's like, if I can just keep a smooth upward trend, then that time doesn't apply to me anymore.
You zoom out the graph, all those little bumps, you're steady going up.
Yeah.
And I think that's another symptom of modernity, if you will, and scrolling and all these things, is that we are in this not only like 24-hour news cycle, but we, like, young people, at least, not all of them, but, you know, I feel a good majority they don't understand, and I didn't till, you know, maybe 5 years ago either, but the concept of delayed gratification, like, you should not be, that's where the devil is, man. Like, Uber Eats, all of these things that they glorify porn, like instant gratification. That is, if you are wiring your dopaminergic cravings to be short burst, then you're never going to be able to, like, achieve these long goals, these life visions that you have. They require consistent effort over years. And if you're training your mind to, you know, want that quick hit, you're never going to be able to be in it for the long haul. And I don't know why I brought that up, but you were saying, about macro view. You want to have that macro perspective on your life, on your goals. That's super important.
And I'll also say focus is the number 2 highest return on investment, return on energy thing you can possibly train, besides awareness. From that level of awareness, I can now choose with my free will what I place my attention on. And I can also have in my mind, in my body, what is the energy that I'm placing in the direction of my intention. Placing my attention on my intention, and I'm aware and present right here, but I'm like arrow of attention, 3-hour deep work block. And I can just focus better than most people because I've eliminated the weapons of mass distraction. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's a great term. For sure, because that's very real. And those weapons are everywhere nowadays.
And those are the corners. Those little shaving of seconds, cutting corners, little looks at your phone all day long. I just went off 2.5 weeks, no caffeine, no social media until 5 p.m., no YouTube, no music, no podcasts, a couple fasts as well. So it was, like, intense, but my dopaminergic baseline went way lower. I'm blowing through books, way more focused, getting way more done. I'm like, this is all it is. It's just elimination. You don't have to build yourself up into some productive macho, like, boom, 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 boom. Just delete the stuff that's fucking you.
Straight up.
As best you can.
So 5 p.m., you had nothing. And what did that look like? Like, for those hours until 5, just productivity, work, movement, breath?
Yeah, I mean, I usually wake up around 6 or 7 and do 30-ish minutes of movement, sauna, ice plunge, meditation, breath work for 30 minutes. And so I'm usually like 7:30, 8:30 sitting down at my computer where I'll get either a deep work block done or I'm just going to start filming YouTube.
Yeah. Oh,
from
nice.
there.
Perfect.
And so I'll just be like, okay, crank out 5-10 videos, just me talking, doing
Yeah, you've been
whiteboard.
cranking those out, man. That's awesome to see, bro.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
just going
go.
all in on YouTube because I think that's
where it's at.
where people that listen to us, they are going to have that attention span, and they're also interested in concepts that can't be delivered in 30-second reel.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going all in on that. So the morning's like highest ROI. What is the deal? Is it my finances? Is it a YouTube video I want to make?
Yeah.
Is it a project I'm working on, course I'm building? And then by noon, I'll have lunch, walk out in the sun ideally, and then I will usually take calls for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. And then I'll have dinner, maybe walk again, maybe do another workout, maybe just chill. And then sometimes if I'm feeling energized, I'll do another deep work, late night YouTube session or something.
Yeah.
So that's the routine at the moment.
And what's your like organization on thoughts, notes, your schedule for the day? Is it like on a calendar? You have like a special app? Like how does your neurodivergent autistic tendencies lead you to?
A lot of it, frankly, is just up in my brain.
Yeah.
And I kind of just operate from there mostly.
Cool.
So in the mornings, like really my morning routine starts with the evening. So the evening I'm going to write down in my Google Calendar YouTube video
Google
on
Calendar.
focus.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, I definitely, I live by my calendar.
Okay, cool.
But usually it ends up being like I'll look at it once in the day and then I'm just operating from my brain. Because I have to use my calendar for afternoon where calls come in, calls get canceled, whatever ends up happening. I kind of am living in a reactive mode in the afternoon, but proactive in the mornings. So the evenings before my next morning, what's my intention for that 3-hour wireframed out time frame?
Yep.
If I come into the morning with an intention and what I want to get out of the morning, then it's over. It's so over.
Yeah.
it's going to get done.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
So that's how I kind of operate. But then I also have like a lot of ChatGPT. Like I've taken 4 years of coaching notes from the $50,000+ I've spent on coaching, just uploaded them to a custom GPT.
Nice.
Uploaded all my documents, coaching documents, books like marketing books, finance books. I have a GPT therapist, so I'm using chat pretty heavily.
Yeah, no, it's a great tool.
I use Apple Notes. I got my action button shortcut, so I just click my action button on my iPhone, goes straight to Quick Notes.
Nice.
Blah, 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 blah. Save, put that in a folder. Then that's my tweet bank.
Cool.
Content experimentation place.
There we go.
Yeah.
Where in that time is the meme posting come in?
Meme posting is...
Monday memes? Yeah.
The meme posting, so...
Your meme game is strong, bro.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah, there we go. That's the priority.
I have an app called Opal that locks me out of my phone, except for certain hours of the day. Right now it's not installed because I had to delete it for our app launch day because I wasn't going to be on social for only 30 minutes during the day of our launch. But
yeah, for sure.
Normally I have a window and I go in and I've just been saving, like when I'm on social media at night, I'm saving memes. I'm looking at memes. I'm looking at content, information, whatever.
There we go.
So then I create this load bank and then I'll just unload my clip for 30 minutes on Instagram.
Perfect.
And
load my meme clip. There we go.
Yeah.
Schizo meme time. Check.
Like little systems has made content creation very efficient for me.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to do it, man. I feel like I should probably adopt something similar for efficiency reasons.
Like if you know what kind of videos you want to make the night before and you're like, I'm going to make this video on focus and this video on health and this video on diet, and you have 3 hours to do it, you go in the morning and you press play and you bang out all those videos and you just, I finally hired a video editor. So now I just chuck it to him.
Nice.
And then I'm hands off from there, and I just get to keep creating content, which is really what I actually love to do. I realized.
Same.
It's cool.
I don't like the editing. I don't like all the other things that come with it. But you put yourself in the position to do it with a smile on your face until you can hire somebody and delegate all these other things. Cool, man. I think we're running out of time here, but why don't you give us a brief breakdown on the app, quick, and what it looks like and how that process was? And
absolutely. I mean, I quit my job in oil and gas in July, and I was blessed with a lot of clients over the fall.
Okay.
I kind of broke the back end of my business and was just burning out and serving too many people. And so my brother cooked up this idea of let's scale using an app, because he had been building web apps. And so what he did was he built what's called Coherence, and we wanted to make a frictionless way to immediately de-stress, immediately shift your state, not like these other breathwork apps.
Cool.
You basically can just, I'm stressed out, let me go in, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to de-stress immediately. And that is going to also get you better at breathing, timing, pacing. It's going to show you basically the codes that you need to know in order to shift your state. So we have some sacred patterns from sacred mathematics that you won't get anywhere else. And then we've got detext, stress relief, that kind of stuff. So longer exhales and inhales will shift you down. This one is 4 in, 8 seconds out. And then the energy breath is 3 in, 1 out. And so you can just kind of rely on this, and then you put some music on. You can also play, YouTube.
Oh, nice.
And now we're dropped into some
perfect
deep meditation, and you're also getting guided in breath work.
You had that ready to go. That
was what I was listening to before I got in here.
I was listening to something similar on the drive over here.
Nice.
Cool, man.
So
well, congratulations on that, bro.
Yeah, thanks.
Very cool to
see. It's called Coherence on the App Store.
Awesome.
Brother and I built it in 2 months. He coded it all with AI and Cursor, and
perfect.
Really wild. And so that's a big, big focus, because the goal of it is to get 1 million people meditating at the same time throughout the entire world, and then eventually 1 billion people doing breathwork at the same
Billions
time.
will breathe.
Billions will breathe.
And just like that, we'll sign off, brother.
Yeah.
Nick,
thank
man,
you so much.
Appreciate you, brother.
Really appreciate it.
All right, definitely.
Awesome. So awesome.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everyone.